Good day, everyone. Terilee Harrison here, and so good to have you with us, whether live or on the replay, for this edition of Let's Talk Networking. I wanted to deviate a little bit today and talk about some of the underlying things, like just acknowledge that we all go through stuff, right? But there are things that happen in our life, and there are things that are happening around the world with people, yes, right now, and they're tough times. They're tough times. And the truth is when we're in the middle of a tough time, it can be challenging growing your business, going out and networking, doing the things that you need to do. So I wanted to address this today. So if you've not met me yet, I'm Terilee Harrison, and I am passionate about helping business owners, coaches, consultants, and solopreneurs be able to network in the most dynamic and lucrative way. I'm in the middle of a 90-day series over the summer of 2021, going live every day, speaking about networking and all the things around it. So I wanted to address, I was invited to speak to an office here in Singapore. For some of you listening, you are living in a place where things have opened up with the pandemic and things are seeming good and going back to normal. And there may be some things that still weigh heavy on you, right? Maybe some residuals of that. Your tough time may have nothing to do with this. Your tough time may be you are ill. It might be someone in your family is ill, right? It could be loss of work. It could be so many things. Challenges for your children, challenges for your parents, challenges in your marriage, right? Tough times can take many faces, right? So today I just want to touch base, and my talk for this office in Singapore is mainly from we're not opened up yet, and so things continue to weigh down on us. How are we dealing? So know that some of that might be where some of this is coming from, but maybe there'll be something here. My hope is that if you need encouragement today, there'll be something I say that will encourage you. So first thing that I want to share is I think you'll agree, is that tough times reveal what really matters. And when you're in the middle of a tough time, that's when you find out the importance of your friends, your family, your ability to be resilient and resourceful. And it's also when you discover how amazingly strong you are. You know, we don't find out how strong we are in the middle of good times. We find out in the middle of the stuff, right? So here's some things that we can be focusing on. So number one, I just want to invite you to think about the importance of focusing on the good. I have had times here during the pandemic when I wasn't choosing to focus on the good, and my daily thoughts were I am stuck on this island. I am stuck on this island, and the fact is, I have the choice. I have the choice to focus on. I get to spend the pandemic on this beautiful island. I'm privileged to spend the pandemic on this beautiful island. It makes a whole lot of difference, right? But focusing on the good, I want you to take a look at, instead of dwelling on all the things that are not happening, what about looking for the good? Is there what good has come from it? Make a list. Are you more connected now in some ways than you were before? Have you had more time for reflection? I asked myself at Christmas, we got on with my large, my side of the family with my kids, my dad, my sister. We did my dad's birthday party, 80th birthday party in March, and we had my uncles, my cousins, family friends, or we invited anyone that could come, right? And at first, after the Christmas thing, I thought, why have we never done this before? Well, some of this has brought about the addition of the ability to realize that we can be more connected. So I ask you, what good has come from this, and focus on that. Next, oh my gosh. Okay, so sometimes if I'm feeling things, like sometimes I will feel the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I don't know if you do too, but just in the scheme of things, and so number one, I think the one thing we always want to know, don't you feel sometimes alone in the things you're going through? And we have to just embrace the fact we are not alone. The entire planet is affected by all of this. So sometimes it's easy for me to kind of have a little pity party, maybe about something that is not happening that I want to happen. And And I just have to remind myself, it's not just me. I'm not the only one that can't travel. I'm not the only one who can't this, right? Can't that. So we're always at choice. So that goes back to I'm stuck on this island, or I get to spend this pandemic on this beautiful island, right? Now, depending on what's happening with you, sometimes when we're ill, we might have underlying issues with depression and things. Okay, so I totally get that. And if you have that going on and you've not sought out any help for that, I want to encourage you to do that, because that's just going to compound the things. But if we are just in a place where we are passing through a tough time, just to remind you that we want to do our best to be at choice, right? Because being at choice for the positive always ends up better than dwelling on the negative. So next, I think this is so important. So at this time, when you're in a tough time, it's all about let's make you the priority, take care of you. So what does that mean? I love yoga and breathing and just starting my day, and focusing on me. So what else does that look like? And it's eating well, maybe, exercise, getting more rest, allowing yourself grace because you are going through a tough time, allowing the people around you grace, maybe, but the focus is taking care of you, putting you first, and making sure that you have what you need to get through the day, knowing you are going through a tough time. Next, the importance of going with the flow. All right, so here, I have had numerous things, as you have too, but just a couple examples and relate it to what is your situation, right? So my youngest son headed off to college from Singapore in Texas, and I kept him home in the middle of the pandemic last August for first semester, but oh my gosh, he was ready to start his new life. So I was like, I want to take him in January. I want to get him set up for school. And you know what? It wasn't possible to do that. And so going with the flow, being flexible. Our second oldest son and his wife live within a couple of hours of the school. They met him. They helped him get set up. They were wonderful. And so I didn't get to do that. And guess what? They had a great time. And then most recently, like I think I have my goals on my board, and I had traveling to the US in August. I was like convinced I was going to see family. I was going to do business. I was going to do the things. And that's not happening, because if I leave Singapore right now, I can't get back in. And there is nothing that urgent going on with my family that I need to go risk that in this moment, right? So there was the day that I had to acknowledge I wasn't going. There was the day that marker came down off the board because it's not happening, and I'm focused on the next potential time when I can go, which is hopefully Christmas. And so it's being able to be patient, be flexible, and I think one of the most underrated, awesome things is hope. Being hopeful, right? Hope is what is going to get us where we're going, is the hope that things will change, the hope that things will continue to open up, the hope that if your tough time is not COVID right now and it's something else, the hope that you can get through this tough time to move on, right? And take the lessons that you learn from this time with you. Next, I want to invite you in tough times, especially if it's tough times you're going through as a group, the ability to check in with others. So I've been doing the online networking thing for a while. You all know that. And so often it's checking in of how are things where you are, and how are things and how are you, and just that check-in of making sure things are okay, people are okay. So how about the check-in with your office mates, checking in with your clients, checking in with your networking buddies, checking in with the people in your life that you care about. That check-in is so important. I think it means something to people. Next, in tough times, I think that something that can help us is to focus on learning something new. So what if you were to learn a new instrument, a new language? What if you were to just say that you were going to learn a new skill? Maybe you're going to learn to edit videos. I don't know what it is, right? Maybe you're going to learn some new crafts. I love crafts. I've been doing adult coloring from time to time. That's helped me just chill. And while I'm doing the adult coloring, I find that my creative mind gets going, and then I start thinking about positive things to be changing in my business. It's really great. It's really great. So how about learning something new and how that can help you getting through the tough time? If you are a person of faith, I want to invite you to, I think that these are the times to lean into your faith, to, I think that it's leaning into your faith that can be the foundation that keeps you going through the tough time. Absolutely. And then lastly, just, I think the reminder that tough times don't last forever. Tough times don't last forever. I know it feels like it will, but it's not. That's not true. And as we have gone through this pandemic and different countries have had different waves, and you think you're coming out and you're rising above, and then, oh, no, you're not. And then, it's challenging, okay? It can wear on you. It can just so wear on you. And depending on what situation, what tough time you're in right now, yes, it can wear on you. I will never forget, and this is a long time ago now. Okay, so when I was 14 years old, I have scoliosis. I had back surgery, and it was supposed to be like a 7-day hospital stay and go home, but it wasn't. It wasn't. The night before I was supposed to leave, they found out I had a fever, which is a sign of infection, and they decided I needed to stay. They needed to see what was up with the infection. Well, a 7-day hospital stay ended up being almost, I think it was like 58 days total. And at the time, this is 40 years ago, some of you older people with some of you gray heads or people that are covering your gray may remember there was the Iranian hostage crisis back then. And this may be 1982, 1981, 82. And they would put the days that the hostages had been captured, right? And so I put hostage in room number such and such, and I was 14. Every day I would put it as outside my door, right? And every day I would add to the room or add to the days on my room, and it ended up I had every test we could possibly have to determine where the infection was, and they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. So one day they said, "We're going to give up. We're going to give up. We're just going to let you go home for the weekend." We live 2 hours away, so we went home for the weekend. And my being off of antibiotics for a couple of days allowed the infection to show in my incision of my surgery of my back. And so when we went back to the hospital, then I ended up having a second surgery where they cleaned things up, would put me on all kinds of stuff. And so the story of when I was in the middle of that tough time, here's the lesson that I have that for all of us today. A lovely, amazing doctor sat me down. Teenagers, we're little, you know how we are. And he said to me, he goes, "I know you feel like this is lasting forever." He goes, "But in the scheme of your life, this is just such a short time. You're going to go on in your life, and you're going to move on from this, and it's going to become, less and less of a, it's just going to become part of your life, right?" And I want us to realize, too, that these time periods that we're having, tough times, whether COVID or something else, that it can be something that we go on from, something that we pull the lessons from, something that we increase our strength from, something that sometimes we find out was really important to us. And so I just want to be of encouragement to you today, and just know that I am here. It is important in business. This is life. This is life. It is important in business that we do rise up over the things that are happening to us. If we stay too down in the dumps, and just too down, it's going to be super hard to attract the clients we want, serve the clients we want. So I just want to encourage everyone that tough times don't last. And to know, just to embrace how strong you are and moving forward this. I look forward to a day when we aren't talking about COVID like this, and when we're all free to travel and do the things and live our lives. So everyone have a fantastic, it's North America. Happy 4th of July to you. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you here tomorrow at Let's Talk Networking. Closing quote for our series is more networking related, but it is when you figured out what you want to ask for, do it with boldness, confidence, and certainty. So everyone make it a great rest of your day.